Hello and good morning. It's a pleasure to be joining you once again early this beautiful Monday morning.
Yeah, it's also the first day of work in the month of March.
Yes.
So welcome to the month of March. And personally, new months feel like fresh starts, great new opportunities to begin again, like today.
We have a really important message for you. You know, it's an opportunity to pick up afresh, to achieve some of those goals and objectives that you've always had, but maybe the pressure of the beginning of the year was just a bit too much. So maybe you can just start now.
All right, so we're going to be having a special show today, this feel-good breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria.
Yes, indeed. So, well, the weekend was very restful for me. I don't know about Yomi because he came out with this beautiful tie.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, where did you get this tie from? It's gonna blind me, maybe.
It's a trade secret.
Where are you getting these little accessories from?
Trade secret, that's what it is. It was a good weekend. A little bit busy, but we'll talk about that later on. Yeah, so it's we've prepared a very interesting show for you today.
Yes, we have.
And we need you to stick around and enjoy it with us. My name is Yomi Owope.
And I'm Titi Oyinsan. Please stream live on tvcentertainment.tv and on Facebook at TVC Connect.
Yeah, send in your comments across the social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook. Use the hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC.
Yeah, and don't forget our app is available for download for Android and iOS, so you can watch us on your mobile devices from anywhere in the world. Yeah.
As the world of tech is constantly inventing something new, we're going to be bringing you up to speed with the latest updates in that world.
Yeah. And for our first musical performance this Monday, we kick off with Afro pop and dance hall act Jeezy. And right after that, we have another musical performance, this time from rapper and singer Superfire.
And for the right Monday motivation to help you kickstart this new month, stick around as Tunji Babajide is going to be talking about overcoming limiting barriers.
Now, if you're a vehicle owner or an aspiring one, we have Ayo Shofela here for you. Now, she's going to be talking about engine oil and the importance of a good service culture on our vehicles.
For spoken word performance this morning, we have actor, poet, prolific joining us this morning. This guy, prolific dude.
And then on SME today, we have Emeka Okafor, the CEO of Connect Nigeria. This is an award-winning IT firm, and he's going to be joining us, telling us his story. All right, Yom, it seems like it's just both of us today.
Yeah.
For now.
For now.
Yeah.
I think Mary might be in some traffic or something.
Yeah, and then of course we'll have the chef a bit later on.
Yeah, on the show. So hopefully we're going to have a full show. Full
You were talking about your weekend, and you said later on we're going to...
Oh, no. So first, I mean, one of the notable moments in my weekend was Joe Biden.
Okay.
My man on the scene, my man in the U.S.
Okay.
So he won the South Carolina elections, and he's been on a losing streak for a while. So he's he's lost 4 states, and it looked like Bernie Sanders was about to take over.
Okay.
But, Biden won, and so he has the momentum, and hopefully he's going to become the nominee, because right now everybody's saying let's get Trump out of there.
Okay.
But in order for Trump for someone to beat Trump, you need someone who's strong enough.
Yeah.
Just like in any two-party system.
Of course.
Where one candidate, the other candidate, you need a strong candidate from the opposition to beat whoever's the incumbent. So that happens all around the world.
I have a challenge with the age issue, though. Both Sanders and Biden are of a certain age.
They're old.
They're
both
old.
over 75.
Like,
yeah.
So that, to me, I still feel like we're still stepping back a bit. There are quite a few young candidates that have been having some amazing speeches and all that, and amazing runs in their campaigns. But I'm just like, I don't know, are we
I
there
feel
yet?
like the agenda right now for them is is for Trump not to get a second term.
Okay. So that's all everybody's thinking
maybe if
about.
he has a younger running mate, one of them, if one of them has a younger running mate, then it will probably
Help them.
help.
Okay.
But in a situation where you bring a younger candidate that's not strong or not well known, because nationally you have to also be well known. If you're not known nationally, then people don't really trust you like that, so they just go for whoever was there before. So that's the challenge.
So for me this weekend, it was a movie marathon for me.
Oh, okay.
I was like, all these movies everybody's been talking about, I'm just gonna, get to watch them. Apart from the fact that I couldn't really go out, so
Yeah.
my nanny went on a short break, and I was like all hands on deck, full mommy mode.
Oh, so movies at home or
Movies at home.
Oh,
Movies
right.
at
Okay.
home.
I thought you were talking
Yeah,
about going to the
some
cinema.
open laptop, all the leftover cold food in the fridge, bring it out. I was just on a lazy streak. But
That was good. I mean, I saw a play yesterday.
oh yeah, of course.
I mean, Tokpa has been harassing me
I was going
since
to mention
Wednesday.
that. I was going to
So
mention
I
that.
knew that if I didn't see it yesterday, I wouldn't be able to see it at all. I was busy Friday. Saturday, I was out, and so when I got back, it was a little bit.
But
too
how was it? I was going to ask, how was the play? How was
good.
Tokpa?
It was good, surprisingly good. It was a different feel to it. So it wasn't a play that was done on the stage. Okay. So I didn't even know. I forgot that the Lagos Theatre Festival was on. Okay. So I just got there. I saw lots of people were there. I saw people from way back. When I was in Unilag, and a lot of people have put on some weight.
Wow,
people,
Yomi. It's
so
because you just happen to not have a pot belly.
So I was like, oh, what? Oh, so I saw a few of my friends, and some of them are still in theatre. I did theatre way back, and so it was sort of fun catching up because I didn't even get to see Tokpa. I just went in, did the thing, and.
Okay. Well, we talked
good.
about it last week that she was, going to be on stage.
On the stage,
on the weekend, and we're proud of you, Topsy. We're proud of you, girl.
So
Congratulations.
it was good. I caught the very last, the very last one. From the Lagos Theatre Festival. So it was good.
All right.
It was good.
I'm glad to hear that. Really, really glad to hear it. If I didn't have childcare issues, I would have definitely been there. But we have to take the news update now, and of course, Ibrahim is on standby.
Yeah, I mean, the secret is that there's no way you'd have put some weight because it's not easy for you to wake up very early in the morning to be here and then, so forget it. 3 days after the confirmation of a coronavirus case in Nigeria, President Muhammad Buhari has spoken for the first time over the matter. In a statement released moments ago, President Buhari expressed sadness about the infiltration of the virus despite efforts put in place to prevent it. He urged Nigerians not to panic as undue alarm could do more harm than good. He advises citizens instead to strictly observe the advisories disseminated by the Ministry of Health, Nigeria Center for Disease Control and the World Health Organization on the best way to prevent infection. Nigeria recorded its first case of coronavirus after an Italian tested positive to the virus on Friday. In Jos Plateau State, where the number of quarantined persons over the novel coronavirus has risen from 3 to 43. The isolated persons include Chinese and Nigerian nationals quarantined in Wase local government area of the state. The State Commissioner for Health, Nimkong Undam, who confirmed this, said the Chinese were suspected to have arrived in Plateau on Friday from Ethiopia. They were in the state for mining activities. He added that no case has been confirmed, but the suspects have been isolated at the Center for Proper Investigation by health workers.
Coronavirus on the plateau, as I am speaking to you. The contacts they have had are being traced and being tracked, and that is why we are involving immigration, because it is not only the medical team that has been dispatched to us, including immigration. We are preparing our hospitals, Plateau Specialist Hospital particularly, and Jos University Teaching Hospital, so that in an event of any breakdown of coronavirus, we will be able to put the patients there.
And in Thailand, the United States and Australia have recorded their first deaths from the novel coronavirus. This comes as the number of cases in Italy rose to 1,694 and 34 deaths reported so far. Czech Republic and Dominican Republic have also confirmed their first cases. The patient in Thailand is a 35-year-old man who died after multiple organ failure. Health officials say the man had worked in a retail sector where he had come into contact with many. President Donald Trump confirmed the death of a female in her late 50s who was termed as a medically high-risk patient. In Australia, an elderly Perth man became first person to die as authorities say an increase in cases is inevitable across the country. The novel coronavirus has killed more than 2,900 people worldwide, and vast majority in mainland China. There have been more than 85,000 global cases with infections on every continent except Antarctica. The federal government has reopened the Kara Bridge along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Our senior correspondent Sharon Jackson reports that motorists and other road users are optimistic that this move will ease the traffic on the road.
Residents who live in between Lagos and Ogun State have spent lots of hours in traffic and have expressed several challenges in moving to their various destinations. Though the Kara Bridge is open for the public to use, many believe that the target set aside by the federal government of completing the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway in early 2022 would live up to expectations.
But thank God they have opened the road, so we hope that from next week, this week that we are moving into, there is going to be easy movement of people and also the goods that have been moved out of Lagos. It will be easy for people to move in and out of Lagos. So it's a good one that they are opening it now. You know, they said they will open it, they will finish the work by February 29th. And like I can see, I think they were able to meet the deadline, which is a good one. So it's really a good one. We are happy that they are opening up the road.
Yes, we've started the traffic for the past 30 minutes back now. It's not easy for us, but for the way things is going now, at least anything from tomorrow next, it will be better for us to apply the road. But for today, it's still very blocked. So I pray that as the government is working, anytime from tomorrow or next, when they open this side of the road, it will be better for us to apply the road.
The 600-meter stretch from the end of Beja bus stop to the beginning of Kara Bridge started mid-January on outbound Lagos and was completed within 6 weeks.
Reduce the traffic on the road. I think the only thing is that they need to ensure that broken down vehicles are quickly removed on time. We need to put a system in place such that when a vehicle breaks down, we have rapid response squad that will quickly move out to such vehicles. That will really help to alleviate the suffering of people on this road.
Though there are still signs of heavy traffic on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, many believe that if the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is completed in good time, it will improve economic growth in the country. Sharon Jackson, TVC News, Lagos.
Good news for commuters. We'll see what happens afterwards. That's another news update for this hour. It's time to let you know what the weather will look like today.
Today is Monday, March 2nd, and we're looking at the Punch to start with.
And the Punch starts with this headline. It talks about the coronavirus isolation centers, facilities in FCT, Ogun, others not ready. Federal government deploys more doctors in airports. It also says here, Abuja facility still under construction, say resident doctors. We need federal government's help to upgrade our center in OOUTH, that's Ogun. It also says government must provide protective equipment for doctors, insists NMA. Beside the masthead there, it says EFCC probes 35 billion naira arms purchase fraud in Defense Ministry. It's unpatriotic to sell rice above 15,000 naira, says Minister. Stock market down by 4.28%, right at the top there, highest in 47 weeks. Petrol landing cost crashes. Federal government may save 450 billion naira subsidy, and suspense as Supreme Court hears Imo Zamfara governorship poll review. That's what we have on the cover of the Punch.
All right, let's take a look at Vanguard. Coronavirus, 54 persons in supervised self-isolation. Mamora, Minister of State Health. And Nigeria only preparing, not prepared, NMA. And then 43 isolated in Plateau. And a few other riders there regarding the coronavirus. We're not ordained to abuse those in power, Catholic bishops says. And Buhari must heed Gowon OBJ's call on restructuring, Pandef Ohaneze and Afenifere say. And Oshun monarchs task Oyetola on implementation of education policy. NCAA harmonizes coronavirus prevention measures at airports. And drop bill to give repentant terrorists foreign education, Serap tells Senate President. APC, PDP fight over COVID-19 index case. And finally, on the cover of the Vanguard, Nollywood actor Pa Kasumu dies at 66. We end that on this sad note.
Very, very sad. It says here on the cover of the Daily Sun, coronavirus, more people under watch. 49, including 9 expatriates, 39 Nigerians, quarantined in Cross River Plateau. No cause for alarm, says Buhari. Interesting statement there. It says Catholic bishops faithful shut down Abuja in protest march on FCT against insecurity. More about that on page 12. Succession war rages at appeal court as Justice Bulkachua bows out this week. Judgment day for Uzodinma Ihedioha. Tension, anxiety as Supreme Court settles Imo Guba today. Amnesty International, Serap, others flay Senate over bill to send repentant Boko Haram overseas. And finally, Nogasa intensifies fight against adulteration and vandalism. That's what we have on the cover of the Daily Sun.
I thought to squeeze in the nation, but maybe we'll take that later on. We're going to be back with traffic in Lagos.
Hello and welcome. It's time for the traffic update on Wake Up Nigeria. Now we're starting. Okay, let me just mention this. We have, of course, the best tips for you for the route you're going to take this morning, hopefully to the destination you're trying to get to. And we always encourage people to help other road users by dropping relevant traffic situation reports on all our social media pages. You can use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. I'm going to be starting from Bega bus stop this morning. And, well, hey, the best advice I have for you would be to avoid the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Well, it's the one that heads towards Ojota, you know, that is really the issue. So once you've passed Bega area, and you decide to come into Lagos, it might make sense to divert into Alausa and take the detour that goes all the way through Oregun to try and get out of that particular gridlock that's holding everybody up at Ojota. So the difference between passing through Ojota and passing through inside Ikeja is about 45 minutes. I'm not sure why, but if you do decide to take Ojota, you're going to be there for 1 hour, 22 minutes. But if you decide to take that detour, you'll be there for about 45. As long as you stay on course and go on to Ikorodu Road, you have a 1 hour, 22 minute journey. But if you decide to take maybe Apapa Apapa Expressway to get to Marina. There is a detour there as well that will save you about 30 minutes. I'm going to be moving along now because the next major junction that you would have issues at would be Orile Gomu, or should I call that area? Let me see if I can remember it. I can't remember the nickname for it, but it's close to the National Theatre. You're going to have a bit of a gridlock around there as well. So we're heading over Echo Bridge with maybe 5 minutes ahead of you, and then you'll be in Marina in about 57 minutes if you take off now from Bega. Hopefully, Mary and Yomi have some updates from social media while I check out some other routes.
Quite a number, really.
Yeah.
Quite a number. I'll just run you through a few. I'm sure Yomi and I are probably on the same handle.
Yeah,
so I'll just take a few and let
I have
him
traffic
take a
butter
few.
here. I don't know which one.
That's
you
what I have as well.
Okay, so let me go to the other one.
Okay. So from what I see here, an accidented trailer laden with iron rod has almost blocked the road at Okegbegun Valley near your filling station on Shagamu Road, Ikorodu. So if you are on that axis right now, that's probably what's responsible for the traffic. Here's another one. As I tweet, there's traffic at Moshalashi, Alimosho area. This was about 30 minutes ago, coming down to Yanopaja at the roundabout. It's also caused by a corpse dumped at water bus stop close to the area. People should drive carefully if you find yourself around that axis. There are more reports on that, the cops on the road close to the police station around Moshalashi bus stop. Mile 2 inward Orile currently good to go. Traffic now from Moshalashi and Kola bus stop inward Oshodi on Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway. Mile 2 bridge is at this call this morning, 6:15. Okay, so Mile 2 bridge isn't so bad. Moshafejo Amukoko on route Ijora currently good to go, but slight traffic approaching Ijora proper. Yaba inward Oyingbo currently good to go, but slight traffic immediately after Tantalizers. Free movement currently from Barracks inward Mile 2 along Badagry Expressway. So far, that's what's available here.
Yeah, just a few tweets here on Lagos traffic reports. That's traffic chief NG. Yaba inward Oyingbo currently good to go, but slight traffic immediately after Tantalizers. Did you take that?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay, you did.
Okay, so I realized something. I switched, so you might want to take this one, where you were before. There are quite a number of them.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me take it right back. There you go. Titi, just a minute too.
Yeah.
We're just trying
I'm
to...
just glad y'all are helping me out.
The closest updates to the timeline.
So here. So
okay,
just,
a few of them.
Yeah, so while they sort that out there, we're going to work out this particular route. We have quite a journey from Aja all the way to Bonny Camp in Victoria Island. And it's going to take you about 1 hour, 50 minutes if you decide to take the alternative route that goes through the back of Oniru. But there's also another alternative route you could take. I'm talking about the Scintilla route behind Chevron, the alternative route behind Chevron. That'll help you shave off about 15 minutes from your journey as well. So if you do decide to come from Aja right now, you'll have some trouble around the Chevron junction. But if you decide to take the alternative route and take the Scintilla route, you'll shave off about 15 minutes. But all in all, it's going to take you about 20 minutes of sitting through that traffic for you to get to the place they call, oh goodness me, Elegushi. So Elegushi Junction is jammed right now for some reason, all the way past House on the Rock, Nikkei Art Gallery, all the way down to Marwa Junction. It's becoming a junction. It's still a roundabout. That particular area is really, really slow. Some are taking the alternative route, shaving off about 10 minutes, but all in all, you're going to have a wait ahead of you. 1 hour, 35 minutes on your journey this morning from Aja to Bonny Camp. Yomi?
Yeah, just a few others here. Cathedral en route, State House currently good to go. Festac Third Gate en route, Second Rainbow also not too bad. This was 5 minutes ago. Those are the two quick updates that I have. I think
Okay.
Probably we should start rounding
I
off
think
now.
that's all we have
Yeah.
for this traffic update this morning. Hopefully we've been able to help you. Remember our hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC, where you can put up your own reports with maybe a traffic selfie. I'll be heading into the kitchen now. See you guys in a bit.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
actually quite worried about the cops being said to have been seen around Water Bus Stop. That's around, if you're living at Ikwaja, you'll be very familiar with Water Bus Stop, heading towards Iyanokwaja. That's just before you get to Moshalashi. I hope relevant agencies are listening. Perhaps when we go on break, we'll probably call the emergency services to attend to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a little bit of a sad note on our gist this morning. Veteran Nollywood actor. Most of the newspapers are reporting that veteran Nollywood actor Kayode Odumosu, better known as Pakasumu, is dead. Now, he died yesterday at the age of 66. He has been battling an illness for a while, and he has passed on after the illness. A few Nollywood actresses, especially of the Yoruba extract, or took to social media to express their regrets and also their sadness over the issue. And it's just kind of sad because, you know, a number of these guys, we've seen them put, you know, many years in the industry, some of them 30, 40 years. And then a lot of them end up like this. They die through sickness that hasn't been able to, not be able to properly either diagnose or treat. Some of them have been sick for years. Some are even still sick. And it's just really, really bad how the industry hasn't really, in the area of remuneration for actors and people with talent, the industry has not really improved in the last 30 years.
There's no denying the fact that when you talk about legends in the movie industry, in the film industry itself in Nigeria, you will definitely mention Pakasumu. The guy is good. The man was one of those who made growing up fun. He had this mannerism. And I remember when his son joined the industry, people actually accepted him because of his dad. He's a fantastic actor. One of the things I remember him for is there's this there was this particular movie he was doing that I'd be like, excuse me, you know? There's a way he talks, like you just can't miss him. Plus his glasses and
it's good to
God
have
rest
great memories of someone, especially with their craft and what you know they loved to do. And you could see that he really loved to act. But I want to mention this issue of things like life and health insurance and making sure that veterans in particular industries are taken care of. So what is it that we need to do? What is it that people are doing in other parts of the world to make sure that their stars, or we could call them golden geese, actually. Those that portray us in a good light all over the world are well taken care of. It does fall on athletes the same way. Even up to, there was a time I was having a conversation with someone who talks about even when you're emceeing or you're doing comedy on a stage, if there's something wrong with that stage and the talent falls down or hurts themselves, who is taking care of that bill? Is there someone looking out for people of talent?
I feel like we're getting to a point where some of these issues are going to actually have to be addressed, like in an open forum. And look, if people don't speak up and people don't fight for what they feel like they deserve, nothing is ever going to change. You know, I don't know any actor right now, whether the big ones, the lesser known ones, the well-known ones, that are living on their income from acting. There's none. So,
is there any?
So whether they're looking like celebrities or they're driving big cars or they live in fancy houses, it's because they have several sources of income. They're doing brand endorsements, they're emceeing now.
Events,
Lots of actors are emceeing events. Because they
probably
know
have some brand or business or something.
exactly. So they
selling.
have businesses, some have offices, some have own business centers.
Yeah.
So in Nigeria, you can't make ends meet as an actor, and I think it's a crazy anomaly. We have musicians who one show they're taking 10 million. Right. And that's one show, 30-minute performance, a 30-minute set, sometimes 20-minute set. I mean, you have Davido comes in, he does 25 minutes, and he's taking off with 10 million. But you have an actor, he spends 1-2 weeks with you,
On
and
set.
you're giving him 200K.
Yeah.
Right, and that's all he probably is going to earn in that month.
Is usually paid without gratitude.
And
More
these-
like
and these are
you
the-
should be happy with
these
your
are the
called
better-known
job.
actors.
Yes, the better-known actors, and it's disgraceful. Many of these people, when something goes wrong with them, they literally live from hand to mouth. And you see some of them, their children, they're looking for people to even educate their children. Everybody has their talent. If your talent cannot feed you, then it is a problem. And I'm not just talking about the movie industry. We're talking about the entertainment industry in general.
Right.
It does seem like only a section of people are actually benefiting, and that's just sad. It's something that really needs to be
I
worked
think
on,
the Actors
please.
Guild needs to step up
Yes.
and begin to
Yes.
speak up for the
Hopefully-
guys. It's really bad.
Yes.
Hopefully
yes,
someone
indeed.
out there is listening right now, and we can take a cue from this. But we have to take a quick break, people.
Yeah.
We're going to be back in just a bit. Wake Up Nigeria continues.
Stay with us.
She's just 12, but her hands have made clothes for her friends, family, and even celebrities. Just 2 years ago, she began her journey into dressmaking. Now she makes beautiful clothes just by sitting on this sewing machine.
I started learning fashion designing I started when I was 10, now I'm 12. I just love fashion designing. I love it so much.
Favor's love for tailoring started as a child, and she was determined to follow her passion.
The learning process was not difficult because I had the passion to do it. So I knew that I would get it, I would know how to. So there was nothing difficult for me to know how to start with, from the reeling, from the sewing, from everything. It was just simple. Till now, I'm getting used to it.
Ìgbà tó kọ́kọ́ mu wá ó look funny létí mi pé ọmọ kékeré báyìí báwo lè ṣe máa kọ́ṣẹ́ nǹkan ọ̀kọ̀ṣá. So gbogbo iṣẹ́ yẹn ó dẹ̀ tètè catch up. In fact, tó máa jókòó lórí machine. Ó lè gbà 24 hours lórí machine, mà èmi gan ni mo máa sọ fún pé Favour dìde. Kí ló dé o fẹ́ gan sórí machine nǹkan kan, á ní mọ́mí let me try.
Wake Up Nigeria team visited Favor in her school at Stella Morris College, Ilupeju, and it was exciting to find out more interesting things about her.
Favor is a very committed person. She concentrates a lot in class. When she's in class, all her attention is on the teacher, and she always wants to learn more.
She's no different from other teenagers. She's intelligent, has some favorite subjects, and also loves to play with her friends. Her class teacher, Ms. Zenifat Mohammed, had this to say about Favor.
Favor is doing pretty well in mathematics, civic education. She's doing pretty well in almost all the subjects though.
There's no subject I do not like. I like all of them, most especially mathematics, civic, basic and social studies. But I love all of them.
Mr. Adebayo, Favor's dad, has been a great support system right from the very day Favor made her interest for fashion design known.
She used to have nice materials. I thought you finished sewing now.
Let's have another one. My father is a supportive and caring person. Anything you know how to do best, he encourages you and tries his best. My father really stood by me when I was sick. He promised me that he would take good care of me. I love my daddy so much. He's the best dad in the world.
In the nearest future, Favor sees herself as a top-notch fashion designer and even much more.
I see myself 5 years time, very big, well-known, people that help other people, encourage other people.
I see Favor as a successful doctor with a big fashion house. She's going to be very successful, I'm sure about that.
Favor had this to say to kids out there and their parents.
My advice to other people out there listening to me or watching me right now is that any talent you have, don't try to hide it. No matter how shy you are, your parents are your friend. Whether it's singing or dancing or craft work or drawing. Just showcase it, don't be afraid, and always try to listen to your parents' advice.
With so much joy, she showed us some dresses she made for herself.
These are some of the many dresses I've made. This is a gown with a straight puff, and as you can see, this is a skirt, flare skirt. You can wear it on a top, a white top, or any other colors that match with. I could remember when I made this dress and I wore it to our school party, and I'm planning to wear it again because it looks beautiful.
She started at age 10. Your child can start even much earlier. It's all about passion and encouragement.
That was fantastic, wasn't it? Well, it's time for our very first performance for today, and it's all about spoken word poetry. It is by Nkemjika M. Samuel, also known as Prolific. He is a spoken word poet, actor, who is also an event and radio host. He started writing poetry in 1999 and went into performance poetry in 2004. So far, he has been to 700 clubs in Nigeria to share his story, and has traveled to 33 states in Nigeria as well and beyond as a missionary with YWAP and a spoken word artist. And let's find out what he has for us today. What are you performing for us today?
Hi, good morning. I'll be doing the Triumph Bean.
Okay.
Triumph Bean. Yes.
Triumph Bean. All right, for someone who started doing spoken word poetry at 13, I wonder, how has it been for you? Because 13 years old, as at 1999, that's a time when I don't think I'd heard about spoken word poetry until a bit later.
Yeah.
So what was it like starting?
It was actually quite challenging. A whole lot of guesswork. You know, it was quite challenging. I remember my first event in Kaduna, our Savior's Anglican Church. I was actually booed and stoned stoned with water.
What?
Yes, and I almost gave up. That's the truth. But passion and my focus really kept me going.
When you talk about passion and focus, of course, we cannot leave out influence.
Sure.
So what influences you, or rather, even what influenced you to go into this? Because that age is an age when most people are still exploring things, and then you decided to do spoken word poetry. Yeah. So what influenced it?
The first thing that influenced it was pain.
Pain?
Yes, pain.
Okay.
Pain was the first thing that
When you say
influenced
pain, what do you mean?
I went through a few challenges emotionally, had challenges growing up, family and all of that. And so pain, basically. Most of my first writings were quite dark and melancholic, but after a while I had to find my footing and focus on hope. Because, yes, hope. Because a whole lot of people go through stuff and they actually can't find a way to express or feel they're just alone in what they're going through. So for me, my poetry was to show you there's another side of life, and that side of life is waiting for you, and that side of life actually is bright.
Wow. So we've moved from pain,
Yes.
and now we are hopeful.
Yes, we are.
And of course, we are going to be triumphant.
Yes, we are.
Take it away. It's time for you to give us our performance.
Thank you so
Nkem
much.
Prolific here, guys.
Okay. The Triumph Bean is the flyest king, the all-time champion in every boxing ring. He is the latest, the news, I'm elated, and that's true. He is the oldest, his name is ancient, in him eternity finds her essence. He is my presence, my perfume. In touch with my heart because he's in tune. He is the tune and rhythm. His love is a finger, it does the beating. He is the leading, your compass. My God is king and I'm the mic. Call me prolific and you'll be right. He spoke the spoken word like an MC, said lights be then darkness could see. A kind God who made mankind, deformity from a perfect God would have looked one kind. Gen 1:26, from whence we're told humans began to exist in him, Christ, in whom the entirety does consist. My God is king, and I'm the mic. Except I'm inspired, I have no words to say. And I mustn't be poetic, I mustn't sound poetic to say something. If I write digits 1 to 10, doesn't mean I'm counting. I mustn't sound poetic to say something. Just because there are deserts doesn't mean the earth is scanty. We make ears smart and never dull, though Nigerian born, yet we still do the Jamaican rubber duck. I'm the man prolific, my KK, I can tag for Nicola Corona eloquence. Respect one. Observe the righteous, mark him causes over Mars, beyond the fields of green, he's got the whole land. I mustn't be romantic to be a lover. My God wasn't, so he whipped merchant in the outer courts, yet gave his palms for nails to be driven into. Now I sound poetic and Christian, I go all the way and beyond, not midfield like SCN. The wages of sin, the pepper pass peppermint, and ogogoro fit on prof head to Clint. To be Clint the drunk be like to be blackballed without chalk. Not be say you know get mouth, but to make sense go just hard to talk. Well, what life now hustle way end for this world, and the boss to help I go pass magic school boss. Winch and God go set people like test, but how we go past God if we no say obedience they bring rest? When like birds make God our nest, Him go cover us from every katakata and tempest. Him be Lord to every chief we get to law, man of war. He no be ajebo, in power strong pass Yoruba pomo. From start to finish with the poem with pidgin English. Washington White House to us now just rubbish compared to create where God for us don't furnish. Now God make man for Genesis, so we they exempted from baboon nemesis. Check the list. Our genealogy points back to God. How Charles Darwin will come say man just evolve? See trouble, fine boy like you. Like say truth no be true. You be in likeness and image, no settle for whackness inside village. Go for 5 alive, no settle for shine bobo. If you sag your trouser with iska, your life go just wow. I don't talk say I no go yarn line, but your own word go be my own punchline. Thank you, prolific.
Welcome to the Monday edition of Wake Up Nigeria. The conversation on Monday usually is around how to get up for work, and people
get out of the house.
Yeah, people post all sorts of crazy things on their social media about Mondays, but they're not so bad actually.
Yeah, so if you know someone who constantly complains about Monday, tell them don't worry, it gets better, especially when you start with Wake Up Nigeria.
That's right. Now, the first hour of the show was loaded with lots of information and entertainment. Now, this second hour promises to even be better, more exciting. So welcome.
Thank you so much for joining us. Once again, my name is Titi Oyinsan.
And I'm Yomi Owope. Remember that right now you could send your comments across all our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We'd like to hear from you. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC.
You can also stream with us live, and you can go to tvcentertainment.tv and on Facebook at TVC Connect.
Check out our app. Not too bad. You go to the Android or the iOS store, search for TVC Connect, download, and click, and we're live.
Yes, sir. We have a chef in the building, and we've been waiting for the chef to get here for quite a bit. But she's here now. She's with Mary.
Yeah, she didn't disappoint us. Chef Amaka of Amanda's Kitchen, right here with us in the studio on Wake Up Nigeria. So great to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming. And she has something fantastic planned for us today. You won't believe it, eh? Yomi is definitely going to have breakfast today. I'm sure Yomi is wishing.
You think?
I think you will.
Yeah.
I think you will. She's
Okay.
making rice. No, let me stop.
Making rice what? Let us
Rice
know.
water. I'll not tell you. Shebi, you were acting like you were uninterested now, so let's keep it.
What makes you think I like to eat rice like
Yomi,
breakfast?
Yomi, you don't want to go there.
You know what? We'll definitely find out in a bit what the chef is going to be making, but it's also important for us to go back in time and look at some significant moments on this week in history. Yeah.
After that, we have a second performance this morning from rapper-singer Superfire.
I say because you know fit buy the eyes tag. You see that scarf from my end, I waiting what to do. Money tonight, I press, I waiting us to do.
As the world of tech constantly keeps inventing new things, we bring you up to speed with the latest updates on Mondays.
And on our auto segment this morning, we have and she's back with us. And we're going to be talking about engine oil and the importance of keeping a good service culture.
Yeah. We also have a second musical act for you this morning. We have Afro pop and dancehall act Jeezy stepping into the building.
It's not a bad idea to start the week with some motivation. And Tuji Babajide is going to be talking to us about overcoming limiting barriers in the mind and even around you.
Yeah.
You know, last Friday, during the sports segment, while I was having a conversation with Mia, we were going back and forth about expectations over the weekend. And I kept saying that you never can tell, Watford might beat Liverpool.
Okay.
And one of the things I wish I had done was to even call up one of my friends that, do this bet stuff.
And just say it.
Well, even if my faith won't allow me, at least we'll go share some of it.
Really? Did you go there?
No, but I mean, just think about if the odds.
Yeah.
The
Like, who
odds
would have thought
against,
Watford?
the odds against them. And
Just like Norwich and Leicester. Norwich is 20, well, as at that time, Norwich was 20th on the table and beat Leicester, that is number 3.
And usually people will go for like the safe bet, like okay,
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what? This is a sure bet. Let me just do it. Liverpool is going to win, so I'm putting my money on that.
So it was so interesting. The top 10 trends on Twitter this morning were all about football.
Yes, now.
It's crazy.
All.
Yes,
And I'm
even
staring
yesterday
at
night.
these trends. I'm like, really, where do we go from here? Because everybody's talking about football. I think the match was played quite late last night, I think. But it's interesting the way sport brings people together.
Yeah.
And on social media, it shows how many people, when you see how many people are actually talking about these matches, and how impactful it actually
I
is.
just want to thank Watford for protecting our invincible bragging rights.
You know what?
So what's your invisible?
Let's take the news update with Ibrahim.
Welcome to the news again. 3 days after the confirmation of a coronavirus case in Nigeria, President Muhammad Buhari has spoken for the first time over the matter. In a statement released, President Buhari expressed sadness about the infiltration of the virus despite efforts put in place to prevent it. He urged Nigerians not to panic as undue alarm could do more harm than good. He advises citizens instead to strictly observe the advisories disseminated by the Ministry of Health, Nigeria Center for Disease Control, and the World Health Organization in the best way to prevent infection. Nigeria recorded its first case of coronavirus after an Italian tested positive to the virus on Friday. In Jos Plateau State, where the number of quarantined persons over the novel coronavirus has risen from 3 to 43, the isolated persons include Chinese and Nigerian nationals quarantined in Wasi local government area of the state. The State Commissioner for Health, Nimkom Ndam, who confirmed this, said the Chinese were suspected to have arrived in Plateau on Friday from Ethiopia. They were in the state for mining activities. He added that no case has been confirmed, but the suspects have been isolated at the Center for proper investigation by health workers. In Thailand, the United States and Australia have recorded their first deaths from the novel coronavirus. This comes as the number of cases in Italy rose to 1,694, with 34 deaths reported so far. Czech Republic and Dominican Republic have also confirmed their first cases. The patient in Thailand is a 35-year-old man who died after multiple organ failure. Health officials say the man had worked in the retail sector where he had come into contact with many. President Donald Trump confirmed the death of a female in her late 50s who was termed as a medically high-risk patient. In Australia, an elderly Perth man became first person to die as authorities say an increase in cases is inevitable across the country. The novel coronavirus has killed more than 2,900 people worldwide and vast majority in mainland China. There have been more than 85,000 global cases with infections on every continent except Antarctica. The federal government has reopened the Kara Bridge along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Our senior correspondent Sharon Jackson reports that motorists and other road users are optimistic that this move will ease the traffic on the road. For many weeks, residents who live or earn their living in Lagos or Ogun have faced hardship of spending many hours on the road. Though the Kara Bridge is open to the public for use, it's worthy of note that the entire Lagos-Ibadan Expressway project will be concluded by early 2022. The 600-meter stretch from the end of Berger bus stop to the beginning of Kara Bridge started mid-January on outbound Lagos and was completed within 6 weeks. Though there are still signs of heavy traffic on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, many also believe that the completion of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway will increase economic growth in the country. The Advertising Practitioners Council in Nigeria has urged stakeholders in the business to be aware of the challenges faced by the marketing communications industry. These include the general low productive capacity of the Nigerian economy, the poor attitude of branding, declining of professionalism among marketing communications practitioners. Some of the practitioners challenged the regulator to play its regulatory role more frequently, particularly as it relates by non-Nigerians, multiple taxation and inconsistent policies of state government in the outcome of out-of-home industry. Though President Muhammad Buhari has assured that his administration is doing all it can to improve the economy, there are still calls for the government to do more in alleviating the suffering of the people. Prophet and global evangelist Pastor Kayode Abiara says Nigerians are going through hard times and the federal government needs to introduce more palliative measures to make the country more conducive for citizens. Speaking on the issue of insecurity, Pastor Abiara condemned the spate of killings across the country, adding that no Muslim or Christian would delight in taking other people's lives. And as a news update for this hour, stay tuned for the
With the smell, the aroma in the kitchen this morning, believe me, there is no disappointment plan. Chef Amaka of Amanda's Kitchen has taken over big time, and we are ready for today's breakfast. Yeah. What are we having for breakfast?
Okay, this is basmati rice with stir-fry, lamanda stir-fry.
Lamanda stir-fry
vegetables.
Okay, so I take it this is your signature dish.
Yes, I prepared. I actually created this recipe.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about the ingredients. What are we making use of?
Okay, this is the shredded chicken.
Okay.
I've already marinated it.
Okay.
Okay, with
what
ginger, garlic, and little seasoning.
Okay.
And this is, I like using Cameroon pepper. That's what I can easily get around. Okay. That's a dark soy sauce.
Okay.
This is corn flour.
Okay.
This is the groundnut oil.
Okay.
This is sesame oil.
Okay.
And this is oyster sauce.
Okay.
Onion.
Okay.
Cubes.
Okay.
Our seasoning cubes. This is green pepper.
Okay.
Use tatache.
Tatache.
Yes,
okay.
you can actually use
in place of red pepper.
Red pepper.
Okay.
It might not be in the season. So, and this is carrot.
Carrot. So these are actually for coloring, and of course the vegetable in the stir fry.
Yes.
All right. So right now we're pan-searing or frying the chicken. Which one are we?
Stir frying.
We're stir frying the chicken already. Okay. So what's the process? Run me through it. After doing this, what next?
After doing this, what do we do? So we now remove the, all the fried chicken into a bowl.
Okay.
Add little sesame oil.
Okay.
add your
into the oil already.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, put your ginger. Don't forget that this has been marinated already with your ginger and garlic, but you can still add your ginger and garlic depending on how you like it.
Okay.
Okay. Once you do that, then you pour back the fried chicken.
Okay.
Add your soy sauce, stir a bit.
Okay.
Add your sesame oil, add your oyster sauce, stir a bit.
Okay.
Then by then, your corn flour.
Okay.
Diluted with little water, depending on how you like it. If you want it very thick, just make the corn flour a little bit thick. If you want it watery, just add more water so that you can get there. Then you can now pour in your vegetables and stir fry. It's just a very easy thing and very healthy.
So the stir fry itself is a side dish.
Just a side dish.
Now let's keep in mind that hands have been washed in the kitchen because of course we know at this point in time we are being very mindful of the viruses around. So the chef she has her hands washed and everything is fine, all right? Okay, so we'll keep up with the chicken. We'll get the chicken ready. We still have another batch to go in. By the time we come back, we'll probably to show you the entire stir fry process, all right? We need to take this break though. Stay with us. It's time for us to give you our second performer for today, not spoken word. This time it's Chukwudi Supreme. He is a young rapper and singer, born and raised in Warri, but now based in Lagos. He's been doing music since he was young, just about 6 years. Started writing music at 6 years, very young. But started officially in 2018, now doing music professionally for 2 years. Tell us, what has the journey been like?
It's been really hard.
You know,
it's been really hard.
You know, when people talk about things being hard, you just feel so sorry for them. But the agitation with which you said, man, it's been really hard. Like,
I thank God this year. I'm moving forward this year. I thank God.
Okay, so 2 years in the industry, ups and downs and high and lows and all. But I'm sure, of course, you have your influences as well. So if you could choose any Nigerian artist, to do music with, like someone just says, you know what, I want to do something fantastic for you this year, Superfire. I want to do something really exciting. Choose any artist, I'll sponsor the bill. Eriga?
Eriga.
Really, why? Why Eriga?
I grew up I grew up staying close to Eriga.
Okay.
So.
That should have been in Warri, right?
Yes, in Delta State.
Okay.
So his vibe, even he just released an album last year, and then the vibe he gives, and he make me feel at home.
He has not even met Eriga yet again. No. He's already hyperventilating. All right, I really wish you get this collabo you want, okay? So what song are you performing for us?
Money Issue.
Money Issue.
This was my first song, my first collaboration.
Okay, okay. All right.
2018.
Okay, so here we go. Superfire, Money Issue.
I want to make you proud, she be like, oh, super high, you don't they make money now. True, my man, no say one day I go shine, oh. But the day never come, so I go to strive, oh. Until my day go break and everywhere go bounce up till I lose my voice like every guy go talk. But this music not easy now, wait till them they talk. People they put focus for those who they on top.
Welcome. So how about some tech updates right here on the show on a Monday? Spotify tries making its app easier to use. Now, you know that app, of course, is a music streaming app. And after recently tweaking its design and giving its logo a little boost, it's, of course, to better showcase podcasts, Spotify has announced it is giving its entire mobile experience a refreshed look and feel, starting initially with the iOS app. Both Spotify free and premium users will notice the app has a more consistent, streamlined look, new in-app icons, changes to how it converts art displays, and more. The app has a simpler universal shuffle button, which now saves you a click by letting you tap once to start shuffling songs and playing them. You know, this is, I mean, it's radio, everything is eventually going to just happen on our mobile devices, and the traditional radio that we know is going to become like Spotify and other apps. Anyway, Google Earth, you know that app, finally it's available on browsers other than Chrome. Google Earth, Google itself is going to be opening up its web-based version of Earth to browsers like Firefox, Edge, and Opera. And that was last week, Friday. Now, before now, you could only go on Google Earth using the Chrome browser. But now, you can launch Google Earth from any browser. And originally, this Google Earth was launched on the web back in 2017. And then its desktop acts at the same time. Google says, we are big supporters of open web standards. But Earth launched on the web with Chrome only. Now, it was a native client. It was almost like incorporated into the Chrome itself. But at the time, it was just that kind of technology, and it wasn't available to support other browsers. Now, this resulted in Earth becoming one of the first of many Chrome-only sites from Google. But now it's available everywhere. Now, if you've never tried the Google Earth app before on any browser, I think you should try it out this week. It's amazing. It is so real. It gives you an actual view using satellite of what a street will look like or a city that you've never visited. It's always very, very nice. So check it out. Up next, Apple reportedly is releasing an iPad keyboard with a trackpad. Wow. And that's going to be happening later this year. And the iPad keyboard with a built-in trackpad is going to be coming later this year. And this is according to information that this new accessory is likely going to be released alongside the next version of the iPad Pro. Adding a trackpad to an iPad keyboard would be yet another move from Apple to bring functionality typically associated with a laptop to the company's popular tablet line. You know, I think it'll be interesting to see when we now have, you know, like a proper keyboard to go with your iPad. It's be nice and fancy. It'll be harder to carry, I think. Probably you're going to be needing a laptop bag after this. We'll see how that goes. Very nice, very nice. Apple products are always so amazing. Now, self-driving shuttle company has been ordered to stop carrying passengers after an injury occurred. Now, let me tell you what happened. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration in the U.S. has partially suspended the U.S. operations of France's Easy Mile after a passenger in Ohio was injured while riding in one of the company's self-driving shuttles. Now, Easy Mile can continue operating its shuttles while, of course, the agency investigates, but the company can't carry any passengers. That's amazing. I didn't even know that they were operational already, but apparently they are. And just a few hitches, I'm sure they'll be back on the road after a few things have been clarified. So self-driving cars are now a reality on many of the international cities. I wonder when it's going to come to Lagos. A self-driving cab, you just go into it and it carries you where you want to go. Wow, absolutely amazing. And for those of you who you don't like talking to a driver, you know, some of those Uber drivers can be very talkative. So yeah. Anyway, Tempo is a smart home gym that uses computer vision to track your form in real time. Now, it's no secret that the Peloton boom is in full effect with connected fitness equipment ranging from smart bikes to treadmills, rowing machines, boxing bags, and weight training stations. Now, while they all feature some kind of streamable fitness class that you can watch from the device as you work out, one thing they all are missing is the ability to tell you if you're doing exercise properly. Now, Tempo is pitching something different. It's another connected fitness machine that has classes you can stream live or on demand, but it comes with Microsoft's Azure Kinect built in to track your form in real time during exercise. That is so cool. This is so nice. So now, from home, you can have a fitness instructor. You can do it on demand. You can also join a class while you're doing your fitness. So instead of it getting really boring and you becoming demotivated, now when you're working out, you can have somebody on the other side who's telling you, hey, you're doing well. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep your energy up and whatever else needs to happen. So yeah, I think it's really, really good. This is one of the things that, this is where the future is going. So you don't have to physically go to the gym. Bring the gym to your house and you can participate in any gym classes in Nigeria, across the world. I think it's very nice, very, very nice. So these are some of the tech updates. The one I'm really particularly interested in is the self-driving taxis. Really nice. And of course, you can see, we can see footage of the gym there where you can stream live and any gyms around, any number of gyms that are using this app around the world. Anyway, I think that's about all that we can take on our tech updates. I'm wondering what's happening in the kitchen with Mary. It looks like things are shaping up over there.
Oh, they're shaping up real good, Yomi. They're shaping up real good. And that includes the shape of the vegetables. Okay, so I still have Chef Amaka of Amanda's Kitchen right here in the kitchen. She's making breakfast for us. Lamanda stir fry with basmati rice. That's what we're having for breakfast. All right, so what's the first thing we're doing regarding the stir fry? The chicken is ready, by the way.
So we need to stir fry the vegetables.
Okay, so which first? Onions, okay. All right.
No order, in no order.
Okay, so it doesn't really matter which starts first, as long as everything gets fried.
Gets in, yeah.
Okay, okay. Wow, look at the colors already. So we already have
this is the spring onions.
Orange and red and now green.
Green. Don't forget that I use that same oil.
Yes. So yes, Chef Amaka used the same oil used to stir fry the chicken to do the stir fry itself. So if you're a vegetarian, this isn't for you, unless you do with fresh oil. Oh wow. This looks really nice. All right, so if you're just tuning in, let's take a quick look at the menu. All right, let's see the ingredients we're making use of this morning. We have carrots, corn flour, seasoning, red pepper, sesame oil, oyster sauce, as well as chicken. We also have garlic, ginger, onions, black pepper, green pepper, vegetable oil, basmati rice, and of course, dark soy sauce. So those are the ingredients for this morning's breakfast, which is coming around nicely. Oh my goodness, you should take a look at this. There's something about vegetables and food.
They call us.
Hey, Chineke. Hey. My goodness, this is shaping up nicely, man. Okay, now with this meal, can it be a budget meal? Like, how much would it cost?
It's very cheap, very, very cheap.
Very cheap?
Yeah.
To get this healthy goodness.
For carrot, you can get a carrot of 300 or 400 naira. The green pepper is 200 naira. The red pepper, the tatache, I used 200 naira. Onions, 50 naira. Cameroon pepper is 50 naira. Corn flour is 300 naira per pack.
Per pack, and you can't use up to
No,
a
you can't even use it. Per pack.
We've not reached 150
at all.
All these things
It's
you're
cheap.
mentioning.
It's cheap. Healthy.
So this is something you could do regularly for your family. I know what usually turns people off in most cases is having to cut up vegetables.
But it's easy.
And all, but it's not so bad. And it's going to be tasty when it's ready. Okay, so what else is going in?
So we
have
need
to do
to
this for how
remove
long?
this.
3 minutes, I see.
Just 2 minutes, just to make it crunchy.
Just to make it crunchy.
Crunchy, yes.
Okay.
So we need to remove it.
Oh, so you pour it in a dry bowl
dry
or
bowl.
something?
Just
Does
a
it have
bowl.
to be a tray?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Just a bowl.
Oh, okay.
So you can actually
Hey,
pour
I
it.
was about to say that people like us, that the easiest way out is what we're always looking for. This spoon by spoon.
It won't work.
It won't work for us.
So just pour it.
Okay.
Now, this is now the final preparation.
Drum roll, you know.
Okay.
Okay, so
I'm still using
now?
that same pan.
That same pan. Hey.
Your sesame oil.
Sesame oil first.
Yeah.
Okay. As against the other oil,
No, you don't need
vegetable oil will be making use
no.
of.
This is the sesame oil.
Okay.
This is your ginger and this is your garlic.
Ginger and garlic are very good
good.
when you're trying to get aroma as well as flavors. It's just amazing. There's just something about the combination of ginger and garlic in your food.
Even the taste.
Taste.
It comes out very.
Yes.
What do I do now? I pour
Oh, the chicken goes in now?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Nice. Why am I feeling like we might have to go and borrow a pot from Yarisika? This thing is...
It's too small.
Ah, now wow.
Okay.
Then what else?
I put my dark soy sauce.
This dark soy sauce, okay.
Depending on how dark you want it to be.
Okay, okay. And then of course,
Oyster sauce.
the oyster sauce, okay. And then what goes in after?
Then I'll put my pepper.
Pepper, okay. So pepper goes in afterwards.
Can you see the color? It's changing.
Yeah, you know, when you put oyster, dark soy sauce, they darken it.
It will
Okay.
change. So for people that like spicy food,
we like spicy food.
just add your pepper, depending on how you like it.
Okay.
You can make it a bit.
Can't you pour everything? It's too much.
It will be spicy. It will be too.
Hey, no, no, no. You don't need to beat me over this one. Okay, so that's going to give it plenty of spice, right? Okay. So what goes in afterwards?
You can add your seasoning.
Seasoning,
Just
okay.
little.
Just a little seasoning.
Very, very little.
Because
Don't
all of
forget.
these are already tasty, tangy, and all that. Okay, so after the seasoning, we pour in the
Corn flour. Yeah.
allow it simmer a bit, and then we add the vegetables, and it's good to go.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it. The stir fry. In a few minutes, we'll be ready. And at the end of the show, of course, you get to see the finished product, and our guest gets to try it as well. Fingers crossed for that one. Thank you so much. The second hour on Wake Up Nigeria today is over. We have 45 minutes left to go, but I'll be after this break. Stay with us.
Welcome to the third hour of your number one. Super relaxed, super chilled. We're on point on the show.
We are. We actually are. 2 hours gone by already. Now, if you missed the first two, not to worry. We still have about 45 minutes of premium entertaining content coming your way right now. My name is Titi Oyinsan.
And I'm Yomi Owope. All you have to do not to miss the rest of the show is stick with us right now. You can also get online if you're running late already. It's past 8. Get online, tvcentertainment.tv, and on Facebook at TVC Connect. Especially if you have a driver. It's really nice.
Yeah, you'll be chilling.
Have a driver, have your headphones on and just watch us as we go along.
Yeah, if someone else is driving, it's always fun like that. You can always send in your comments. Would love to hear from you. Use our hashtag, kindly use Wake Up Nigeria on TVC.
And also download our app as well, both on the Android and iOS stores, to watch us anywhere you want.
So in a bit, we'll have Ayo Shofela right here in our garden. Now she'll be talking on our auto segment about engine oil and the importance of keeping a good service culture.
Still coming, we've got a performance for you on the show. This guy is an Afro pop and dance hall act. GZ is his name.
Starting the week right with motivation today. Tunji Babajide is going to be here very soon talking about overcoming limiting barriers. That should be an interesting one.
All right, guys. I just want to run through stuff happening, not just today, but this week.
Okay.
This week is World Orphan Week.
Okay.
It's also Return Borrowed Books Week.
Some
of us have these books in our house.
Borrowed books. A lot of people have borrowed my books and never brought them back. And at the point, I had to just stop. You're like, sorry, I'm not
borrowing you any books.
Sorry. because my library was just depleting. I'll now be seeing gaps. So it's, who did I give this one again?
And you won't remember.
Yeah. And they never bring it back.
Okay, it's also Women in Construction Week. Though that started yesterday. The other two started today, but that started yesterday. Today is also Fun Facts About Names Day.
Fun facts about names.
Yes.
Right.
So, Yomi, what's your full name?
Oluwa Obayomi. Alone,
Wow.
Sorry.
Because I was confused.
Otami Obayomi, Olonioje. So it's long.
Yeah.
It's actually from one of the Psalms.
Oh.
My enemies would have overcome me, but the Lord didn't allow them. Something like that.
Wow.
What about your full name?
Well, mine is Titi Oyinsan.
Titi Oyinsan.
Yeah. That's Titi Oyinsan. So I guess forever is my joy, right?
Yeah.
If you
my joy is forever.
My joy is forever.
Yeah,
unending joy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And then spring of joy. That's good. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And today is also Old Stuff Day.
So that's how you're not going to say your own Mary.
Me. Mary is Mary. Unless you're trying to get me to say more than Mary.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Okay, so for some people, Mary means sorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. While for some people, it means courage, it means positivity. So it depends on what angle people choose to look at it from. But
what's the generic meaning?
Sorrow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because of the sorrow of the mother of Jesus.
Right,
That's actually
right.
the original.
Original,
but
yeah.
there are other meaning attributed to it as well. So it depends. That's why I said it depends on what angle.
And it's the same with the variants Mariam,
Yes,
Mariam,
Miriam. In fact, all the
Okay. All the Marys. Yeah.
Well, we have the news update coming up, and Ibrahim is going to be taking that.
Titi, Mary, Yomi, I've got my eyes on the kitchen. There's no way you eat that delicacy and coronavirus will affect you. I don't think it's going to happen.
The kitchen is alive and kicking today.
In fact.
Right, 3 days after the confirmation of the coronavirus case in Nigeria, President Muhammad Buhari has spoken for the first time over the matter. In a statement released moments ago, President Buhari expressed sadness about the infiltration of the virus despite efforts put in place to prevent it. He urged Nigerians not to panic as undue alarm could do more harm than good. He advises citizens instead to strictly observe the advisories disseminated by the Ministry of Health, Nigeria Center for Disease Control and the World Health Organization on the best way to prevent infection. Nigeria recorded its first case of coronavirus after an Italian tested positive to the virus on Friday. And in Jos, Plateau State capital, where the number of quarantined persons over the novel coronavirus have risen from 3 to 43. The isolated persons include Chinese and Nigerian nationals quarantined in Wase local government area of the state. The State Commissioner for Health, Ninkom Ndam, who confirmed this, said the Chinese were suspected to have arrived in Plateau on Friday from Ethiopia. They were in the state for mining activities. He added that no case has been confirmed, but the suspects have been isolated at a center for proper investigation by health workers. And in Thailand, the United States and Australia have recorded their first case from the novel or savage coronavirus. This comes as the number of cases in Italy rose to 1,694 with 34 deaths reported so far. Czech Republic and Dominican Republic have also confirmed their first cases. The patient in Thailand is a 35-year-old man who died after multiple organ failure. Health officials say the man had worked in the retail sector where he had come into contact with many. And President Donald Trump confirmed the death of a female in her late 50s who was termed as medically high-risk patient. In Australia, an elderly Perth man became first person to die as authorities say an increase in cases is inevitable across the country. The novel coronavirus has killed more than 2,900 people worldwide and vast majority in mainland China. There have been more than 85,000 global cases with infections on every continent except Antarctica. The federal government has reopened the Kara Bridge along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Senior correspondent Sharon Ejason reports that motorists and other road users are optimistic that this move will ease the traffic on the road. For many weeks, residents who live or earn their living in Lagos or Ogun have faced hardship of spending many hours on the road. Though the Kara Bridge is open to the public for use, it's worthy of note that the entire Lagos-Ibadan Expressway project will be concluded by early 2022. The 600-meter stretch from the end of Berger bus stop to the beginning of Kara Bridge started mid-January on outbound Lagos and was completed within 6 weeks. Though there are still signs of heavy traffic on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, many also believe that the completion of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway will increase economic growth in the country. And the Advertising Practitioners Council in Nigeria has urged stakeholders in the business to be aware of the challenges faced by the marketing communications industry. These include the generally low productive capacity of the Nigerian economy, the poor attitude of branding, declining of professionalism among marketing communications practitioners. Some of the practitioners challenged the regulator, APCON, to play its regulatory role more fervently, particularly as it relates to non-Nigerians, multiple taxation and inconsistent policies of state governments in the out-of-home industry. Today is a defining day for Imo State as members of the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party await the verdict of the Supreme Court on its government tussle. The Supreme Court will hear and make pronouncement in the application by former Governor of Imo State, Emeka Ihedioha of the PDP, urging it to set aside the judgments that removed him from office in favor of Hope Uzodinma of the APC. The court had nullified the election of the PDP candidate in the 2019 Imo governorship election on January the 14th. And that's it on the news today on Wake Up Nigeria. Bye now.
Welcome back. We have some music coming your way now with a really interesting story. We have Oluwasegun Awobona here, Olani. Now, he's popularly known as Jeezy. He's a singer-songwriter, and he's based here in the city of Lagos. His music is doing pretty well in the Ikorodu area of Lagos, but he wishes to be known by the rest of the world. He has a great song called Gbemileke, produced by Dice OMG. And that's what you're performing for us this morning.
Yes.
So do you want to tell us the story behind the song, Gbemileke?
Gbemileke is just a song like for my dad.
Okay.
Yeah, I did it for my dad. Well, due to like I wanted him to support my music.
Okay.
Because I fell in love with music right from my tender age.
Okay.
But like when I told him like I wanted to do music, he was freaked out. Like no, like why would we be singing? When you have to go to school. Okay, Dad, I'll go to school. Fine. So I did the song to please him because I have more of different tracks. There's one like I'm planning to do now.
All right. So he says he did this song to please his dad, and we're about to hear this song from him right now. You need to take the mic up just a little bit more. And well, hey, we have Jeezy here with Gbemileke.
Call me Jeezy. I dey walk, I dey pray. Baba show me the way. I dey hustle, dey pray. Baba bless all my day.
All right, yes, it is time for the auto segment on Wake Up Nigeria. And you know how some of us get to say Happy New Year in January? It does seem like our own Happy New Year to Ayo Shofela will be happening in March 2020. But it's great to have you here, darling. It's been a while. Is this the coronavirus song?
Okay, I think they said something like...
All right. Now, today we're going to be talking about engine oil.
Yeah.
So you tell us all about it, Ayo.
Okay, most people who drive cars know about engine oil. They know that your car cannot run without engine oil. But then most people also don't know the consequences of not servicing your car regularly. I've heard someone say, I buy my engine oil for close to 18,000 naira, so I service once a year. It's completely wrong.
Engine oil for
18,000 naira. And for that reason,
I didn't know it was that expensive.
There are some that are more expensive than
18,000.
Yes.
When we have probability, down the road, Okay,
well, it depends on the car you're driving, though.
True.
If you're driving a German car, you know that you're going to spend more on engine oil than a regular Japanese car. So today, I want to show us some of the consequences that happen when you do not service your car regularly. But before I get into that, we all know where our dipstick is. And for those who don't know, this is what the dipstick looks like. So when you pull it out of the car should actually be stationary engine not running, at least
So
it should
the
have been
engine
off.
must be off whenever you take this out?
Yes.
Is there a reason for that?
Well, if it's running, the oil is going to be circulating around the engine, so you get a wrong reading.
Oh.
You might get a reading telling you that it's probably around here.
So the car has to be packed for how long?
For about 5-10 minutes
Before
is
you do
good,
this.
before you check
Okay,
this.
so the oil should reach here, right?
No, the oil should
So why is the
there.
stick long?
Well, the stick is long so that you can gain access to the sump because it's actually going all
so
the way
what's
down.
the level for it?
Now,
the
I'm
correct
going to
level.
do that now.
Okay.
Once you push it in, you pull it back out.
After 5 minutes?
No, you can pull it out immediately.
Okay.
You have 2 dots here.
Yeah.
Now those 2 dots, the second dot
is
the higher one, is where the oil should always be. Yes.
This long length, only these 2 dots?
Yes, only these 2.
Okay.
Now, if it's anything slightly below it, it's fine. But when it starts getting towards the lower mark, it's
then
dangerous.
It's a problem.
Yes,
Okay,
it's
that's
really
what might knock
dangerous.
the engine.
Exactly.
Okay. So how often should you change your engine oil? Can you do it yourself, or is advisable to take it to a mechanic when you're doing servicing?
I have some clients that do their servicing themselves.
Okay.
If you're a DIY person, you'll be able to do it. It's pretty simple. But if you have no idea on where the sump
safer to
is,
take it to your
it's safer
mechanic.
to take it to your mechanic.
Okay.
Then, when you service the car, you should always follow specifications.
Okay.
So
So
this is the oil filler cap.
Okay.
Where I just opened is where the oil is poured in.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I've had somebody that has poured water in there before because they did not know. I'm serious. They poured about 5 liters of water in there because they did not know it is meant for oil. So it's important for us to educate people. Now,
You know what, babe? Just come this way because you're having to stretch too much. I don't want you to stress yourself. Show
okay.
me.
So this is it. You can see it's written engine oil. Manufacturers took their time to write it out there
Engine
so
oil,
that
so
you do
you
not
can
make a mistake. And then underneath they would write the specification of oil that you should use, which
Okay.
means you don't just go to the market and tell them, give me engine oil.
Ah,
You should
that-
actually
the one that we get
follow
from Baba
this.
Biliki that I was talking about.
You should actually follow this specification. It's either going
Okay.
to be a 0W20, 5W20, 5W30, and the likes.
Wow. Okay, so this is actually on every engine oil cap, like every
engine carries
cap.
this. Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I don't think I've ever noticed that before.
So once you do the servicing, you should give it, depending on what your car is reading, whether it's mileage, miles per hour or kilometer per hour, you should actually do 2,500 miles or 4,000 kilometers.
Okay, so for how often should I get my vehicle serviced?
That's what I just said, 2,500 miles or 4,000 kilometers.
2,000, but how can I determine that? What if
Okay.
I decide, okay, I travel a lot?
Okay.
Should it be like every 3 weeks? Or if I don't travel so much with the car, should it be like every 6 months?
Okay, if you don't travel too much, maybe the car just goes a short distance.
Like maybe
every
1,000
day.
miles, for example.
Exactly. You could take it down to 3 months. Just
3
say
months.
every 3 months you want to service your vehicle.
Okay, but if
That's
you drive out
practically
every
fine.
day,
then it's best you follow the mileage. You use the dashboard to do that,
Yeah.
the instrument cluster to follow the mileage. Now, if you
But
do
what
not
exactly? I was going to ask that. What's this big deal about engine oil? The most important thing is your vehicle is moving, the engine is fine. What is this?
The engine oil is a really, really big deal. You can, because of neglecting your engine oil, just buy a new engine. Exactly.
Jeez,
It's that
cost
much.
I was going
It's
to
that
ask
much
a
of a
mechanic if
big
she knows
deal.
the cost of a new engine.
It's that much of a big deal. Now, what I'm going to pour out here, you can see it's pretty thick, so it might take. Okay, so
Ew.
you can see this. This was taken out of someone's car. Now, if
Stop it.
I'm serious. This was taken out of someone's car. This is like grease compared to what I have on the dipstick here.
Will this destroy my hair?
That's dropping. You see this? See?
Oh,
How light
okay.
that is
Yeah.
compared to this. Now, if you do not service your car regularly, this is what is going to end up happening. The engine oil is going to eventually become so thick that it cannot travel around the engine properly and the engine is going to knock. Yes.
So how long has this been?
According to the person, they serviced this car around, was it April last year? And I took this out last week.
April last year. That's almost a year. Wow.
So
Just
you
take a look
can-
at it.
you
It's
can
even forming
see-
the shape of a tree. Can you see? Or is it mushroom? You just
So
pouring it out.
You can actually see
that.
what happens when you don't service your car. It's
Can
better.
you make out the face of somebody looking really evil-like? So it's better.
It's better for you to service your car regularly.
Okay.
2,500 kilometers, 2,500 miles, 4,000 kilometers, or 3 months is just perfect. No matter how expensive your engine oil is.
Okay.
Do not go past 3 months. Worst case scenario, 4 months, don't do more than that.
Okay,
Because
so when you're getting to 6 months, 8 months, you're not only
too
playing
much.
with your car's health, you are playing with the cost of a new engine,
Exactly.
which is something I'm sure many of us would rather avoid.
And the cost of engine oil can never ever be as expensive as
of course
a new engine.
Of course, no
So
matter
it's
how often you service.
important for you to always keep a good service culture. If you have a mechanic that's doing it for you, tell him to remind you.
Okay.
In case you are so busy that you don't remember. They can always put a service sticker by the door, so when you open it, you always
are
see
reminded that this is the last time you've done
this. is the
this.
last time, and then I need to do the next one.
So hopefully someday soon we might talk about how to identify quality engine oil, because I know that is a challenge.
It is.
Sometimes you buy packaged engine oil, and when you use it, you realize that you should probably not have gone near it. So that's something we'll probably take a look at someday.
We will.
Once again, Happy New Year, Ayo. Good to see you again. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the show, Ayo Shufela. As the show continues, we'll take this break and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Welcome back. It's time for some Monday motivation to get us ready for this new week. And Tunji Babajide is a UK certified life coach and lead consultant who likes to help people of all ages live a happier, healthy, and more productive lives. Today he's going to be talking to us about overcoming limiting barriers, which is really, really important in this day and age where you have a lot of challenges and a lot of distractions as well. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
It's a pleasure being here.
So, limiting barriers, it sounds very wide and also a bit vague. So where do we start from when we're talking about limiting barriers?
I think the first thing is different people define different things based on their perspective.
Yeah.
So the first thing is what is the perspective of the person who perceives that he has a limiting barrier? Because that definition will shape every other thing. So once the person defines what he or she feels is a limiting barrier, then the next question is what kind of barriers? Because there are different kinds of barriers there. Yeah, they're limiting, but yeah, they could be perceived to be spiritual, they could be perceived to be physical, they could be perceived to be internal, they could be perceived based on the gap between the required skill and the existing skill. So all of that energy will determine how the person who feels he or she has a limiting barrier will face the barrier ahead. However, at the root of every barrier is what I call the self-limiting beliefs. Because before you can have a limiting barrier, you must have a limiting belief. And those self-limiting beliefs are usually used to sabotage the goal, the desire of the person that is in the picture. So the first thing is clarity. How do you see the barrier? Number two is what exactly do you think you can do? What resources is available for you to overcome the limiting barrier? Once you can identify all of that, it makes it clearer, it makes it easier for you to charge after your goals in an unstoppable manner.
Yeah, I like this, and you know, typically we like to talk in practical terms. So let's say I have a graduate, a certain degree, any kind of degree, and maybe based on the school that they went to, or whatever other challenges maybe they found themselves as, maybe, you know, we have all these insurance salespeople nowadays. They don't earn much. They work on commission, and it's pretty tough.
Very tough.
And so I'm a family man. I'm thinking to myself, I need to move from this job and get something better to do so I can take care of my family. But because of maybe my degree, or maybe my class of degree, some other challenge, or maybe I didn't even finish, or whatever it is, or I have an OND.
So I like your analogy.
You get so this makes me feel like I'm trapped. Like I have no way of moving from this present situation. What are the things that I should now be thinking about doing?
The first thing is to assess where you are vis-a-vis where you should be. You see, the reason why a lot of people wake up in the morning is not because alarm truly woke them up. It's because there's a gap between where they desire to be and where they are at the moment. I mean, for a family man, I'll use a very practical illustration. So I like to say to people, if you're a single man, you're just a bicycle or a motorcycle, and you're going to Ibadan, for example, if you realize that the road to Ibadan, you were actually going to Abeokuta instead of going to Ibadan, and you want to do a U-turn, you just find the next next detour and just do the U-turn.
Yeah.
When you are just freshly married, you don't have kids, you're just like a car. If you find out that the way to Ibadan was not the one that you were meant to take, you just do find another convenient spot and turn back. But when you're a married man with kids, you're a trailer. A trailer doesn't find an easy route to turn back, so you have to go down, drive a little longer before you can make a detour.
A wide berth,
So you can make it. So if you put that in context, a married man will require to first sit down and ask himself, okay, so I've got responsibilities. I can't let go of what I have in my hand at the moment. What else can I do to up my game? What else can I do to ensure that I had value in the organization? What relationship do I need to look into so I could speak to the people who potentially could help me get another job? I mean, so there's always that journey to look at your options. The challenge with a lot of people who feel they have self-limiting beliefs or they are stuck or they have barriers is that they don't exhaust their options. In life, the journey from point A to point B usually will paint to you different options, and your ability to sit down technically to analyze your options will determine what you will bring and elicit from the barrier. So when you realize there's a barrier ahead of you, ask yourself, what relationship do I have? What else can I do with what I'm doing at the moment? Do I have a side also? You see, because it's never a one-size-fits-all. So the person in context will have to sit down. That's why coaching works. I could sit down to tell you the things you should do. Maybe I told you these things prior to this time, and oh, now you're in TV, so you got a job. However, the other person might look like has the same issue or problem or challenge or barrier with you, but the issues are usually very peculiar. And the peculiarity of the individual will determine the ability to look at the options, know the resources available, know the reality, know how he or she had overcome barriers in time past, look at the patterns, then now choose from those options what exactly that person needs.
So the second thing, I know that there's a lot of people in this part of the world where you might say that religion is one of the greatest barriers to progress, personal progress for many people, because they would say to themselves that my religion doesn't allow me to do this, but in the meantime, it's also stifling their progress. So in a situation where you had to counsel someone like that, what would you say to the person, especially when you realize that, okay, the fears or the issues or the phobias that this person is having regarding the progress that they're supposed to make is probably being caused by either some kind of religiosity or being misinformed by some other context?
Okay, so the first thing is that a lot of people who feel they have maybe religious-related or spiritual barriers usually are quite myopic about the big picture, because it's never been one thing that would hinder anyone from not getting to where they should be. Yes, that might be perceived. In fact, a lot of spiritual problems are perceived. However, yes, if you know that that is one of the things that is limiting you, then the other thing is to ask yourself is, what are the other things that could be available? Because sometimes spirituality doesn't just work alone. So the good book says that Jesus has been made unto us the wisdom and the power of God. So in the power, you think that there are power gaps. Maybe you think your office is a bit fetish, or you feel that you don't have what it takes to face certain barriers from your perspective. Also, there's also the wisdom part. The wisdom is the application of knowledge. So do you have the required knowledge? What knowledge gaps, what skill gaps do you need to close for you to be able to embrace, even if peradventure your spiritual or religious problems are taken out of the way? You still require to engage the available knowledge, and if your knowledge are limiting, your skills will be limiting, your beliefs will be limiting, you'll get myopic, then you begin to have what I call self-sabotaging habits. And once you embrace or you begin to deploy self-sabotaging habits, you realize that your subconscious mind and your conscious mind will begin to interfere. And a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. So until your conscious mind and your subconscious mind begins to align, then you can begin to charge after the options that you have elicited and achieve the goals.
So I like this. So for someone seeking clarity now, and they say to themselves that, okay, you know what, I don't break the limits, all these different limitations that are happening, limitations of the mind, limitations of
the environment,
degree, whatever it is. What's the first step that they can take today? It's the beginning of the month, so the
first step is to isolate themselves and begin to introspect. introspection is very rare, especially for people who live in Lagos because of the many hustling and bustling. So the first thing is to isolate yourself and to think on paper. So that's what we call the T-GROW model. The T stands for topic, G stands for the goal that you want to achieve, the R stands for the reality. What are the realities of the barriers, obstacles ahead of you? The O stands for the options. The W stands for the way forward. So when you put the TGROW, it helps you navigate through your introspection to look at your option, to look at the realities of what you have now, to look at the goal ahead of you, to look at the topic, then to find the way forward and begin to charge after it in an unstoppable
That's really, really amazing. You know, I feel like we're getting some direction, and I'm sure a lot of people watching now are saying to themselves, you know what? I'm going to make some changes.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to be taking you to the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
And I think our guys have been hard at work. So let's find out what they have for us right now. Please, this way.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Please have a seat.
How are you doing?
Thank you for joining us.
You want me to sit?
Yes, please sit.
I hope
Welcome
the seat is corona-free.
Wow. I just shook your hand now.
Well, you were magnanimous enough to do that, but a few people had refused to hug or shake me.
You understand? So, I mean, we've been discriminating against him since he walked into the... So here's a handshake for you.
Thank you. You're just far too kind.
Chef Amaka of Amanda's Kitchen is
nice to
the
meet
one
you.
in charge today, and she's made this fantastic meal. Tell us about it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Lamanda's the fried vegetable. Okay. So I created this recipe.
Okay.
Yes, so this is a basmati rice. Made with a lot of vegetable, and it's quite healthy.
Quite healthy.
Very,
Go
very
ahead
healthy.
and have a taste.
Yeah, and while he's doing that, we're going to start rounding off the show. We quickly need to go, but a big thank you.
Yeah,
You
to
like
everyone. Everyone who's been part of the show.
And Homely NG as well.
For the kitchen
And of course, our Monday motivation was great today. Very nice.
Have a great day, everybody. Bye.